It's significant, but Theuri, let's finish this with you first. You're finishing your thoughts on the process before we get into what Raila Odinga just said right now, on the process of the IEBC and the tallying system. Yeah.
Yes, so I was saying, of course, the data can present a lot of challenges in terms of tallying. But for those who are diligent, of course, they would be able to do that. But the ultimate responsibility in terms of making the pronouncement lies with IEBC. And so the process that is ongoing is an important process because it's a question of verification, checking with what you have and what they have, and if there are any material variations, then those variations being noted and the concerns then being addressed at that particular time. So I think that what is happening at Bomas is integral to the integrity of the ultimate result that comes out, and it should be allowed to proceed in an environment that is devoid of extreme pressure and provocation, so that we have those results verified, because it's actually a constitutional requirement that the votes at the polling station then must be openly collated and verified. So once that is done, and this is what we would want to urge all the parties who are involved, that you allow, you take note, you have your own set of data, you allow the IEBC to complete that process. Where there are questions, you pose those questions, and you perhaps demand that those questions or concerns be noted down, and a response then is made, and you keep a copy of that response. You allow IEBC to finish and announce, because once they finish and announce, then you can be able, if you're not satisfied, to challenge then the process. And the beauty about being at the tallying center and collecting that information at that particular time is that then you therefore have the evidence to be able to go to court and challenge whatever outcome or whatever situation you had a concern with.
Yeah, I want to stick with this process for a bit, but let me bring Dr. Molo on this. Just a few moments ago there, Raila Odinga was addressing the congregation in church, and he chose the St. Francis of Assisi, make me an instrument of your peace, during this electioneering period. What are you reading into that? Or is it just a peaceful message because there's anxiety in the country and the results are not out yet?
I think just seeing the Azimio presidential candidate Raila Odinga come out, I think, you know, yesterday people expected to see him at KCC, you know, when the Azimio team went there and they said they wanted all the elected leaders to come to the place, and they gave speeches, and, you know, at first when people saw them, you know, it just shows how Kenyans have less interest, less trust in this process, because immediately they started going to KCC, the red carpet was there and everything, and, you know, you're seeing all these social media people asking, are they going to declare themselves as the winner of this kind of process? And we saw them talking, and we expected maybe like there were some messages that even Uhuru Kenyatta was going to get there, the current president, but we didn't see him, and we've not seen even the Azimio presidential candidate for a while. But when he comes out here and he's not talking politics, he's talking about, he's just talking about, the church, and talking about the blessing for the country and everything. So it's really assuring that, oh, things are a bit okay. But we're looking also forward to seeing the Kenya Kwanza. We've not had them. And even yesterday, when after Azimio team went to KICC, people thought that they were going to retaliate and also call for a press conference or to do something. But we've not kind of seen them out here. And as the process going on, sometimes we ask ourselves is that why are all these politicians are at the tallying station at the Bomas of Kenya? And every time we hear the IEBC officials coming out and saying that, they only want a limited people at that space. So people are really anxious. People want to know what is happening, and it still shows that the trust is really low. Yeah. But as we are coming to the end of the process, we have only Monday, and we also have Tuesday, and the IEBC have told that they're trying to do their best, and they need to announce the winner of this election latest on Tuesday. So having all these leaders on the media, seeing them going to church and all that is really reassuring.
Okay. Theuri? Message that is passed by Raila Odinga right now.
No, I think he really passed a message that the country needs to hear. That there's a contest, but there's a need to look at the greater picture, which is peace and unity in the country. And he just did not just make reference to the very powerful message of Pope Francis of Assisi, but also he spoke about the words that are contained in our national anthem, that this should be a land of plenty, peace and plenty. And I think he spoke a message that all of us need to emphasize, that it is a high time. And of course, we know that part of the anxiety we face is arising from our previous history.
Yeah.
But for me, I see this election, after my own preliminary assessment of it, is that this election is really going to mark a change in terms of how we conduct elections in this country. And already the pointers are there. Of course, we have the highest number of female governors being elected. We have an extremely high number of female candidates being elected in the houses and in the assemblies. Also a high number of independent candidates. And just the fact that there was some, at least a high level of transparency insofar as the transmission of results are concerned. So that once we consume the final product that comes out of IEBC in terms of 34C and our assessment of it, if the reasonable man on the street, because you know there are those that are heavily colored in terms of the coalition that they support, but the reasonable man on the street would be able to look at it and say that we believe that this is a fair result and that the country then should be able to move on. That in itself will mark the transformative electioneering in this country. And we are going to see, going into the future, a lot of realignments in terms of how we practice our politics, because depending on the outcome and how we treat the outcome, then we are either going to have made a significant stride in terms of politics of maturity. This is the first time also, and I think it is important for me to say this, that we are seeing a high number of candidates actually coming out to concede defeat and to congratulate the winners. And I do hope that when the final results are announced, even the presidential candidates, whoever wins or whoever loses, will be magnanimous enough to congratulate the winner, as happens in other countries, because you can still congratulate the winner because that is the outcome. And if you have concerns, still challenge it in court. So I'm hoping that we can be able to get to that level of political maturity.
All right, we'll take a quick break here on Kenya's Choice. Mwana, bado tupo site, sio?
Tupo site, na tukirudi na swali moja kwa Bwana Eric ya utanijibu. Naelewa kwamba wewe lugha zote unazifahamu vizuri, angalau unajitahidi. Kwa hivyo tukirudi na wewe katika hilo swala ambalo umelitaja la idadi kubwa ya wanawake na wale wagombea huru ambao wamechaguliwa.
Sawa, asante.
All right, see you in just a bit. Kenya's Choice 2022 continues live coverage here on wall to wall everywhere. Where there's any announcement, we will be right there. We'll keep you updated through it all. Keep it citizen.